Now brackets comes preloaded with this index.html. So currently along the left side here, we'll see our working files. And if I select index.html, or I can go up here and select it, we have our very first web page, or the one that's preloaded. But I want to go ahead and delete this, and we're going to start working from scratch and make sure that we understand exactly how HTML works and really understand the foundation of it. So let's go ahead, and we're actually going to just grab everything. I want to scroll to the bottom and just delete it all. And we can also go along here to the left side, and I'm going to grab this main.css file, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to delete this as well, because that's actually going to change the way our HTML page looks before we even know what it's doing. So we're just going to start with our simple index.html file. Now by default, we create our home page of our website, or our very first page, and we name it index.html. All right, now that we have a blank canvas and we should be starting on the very first line, we're going to go ahead and code out a very simple HTML web page. So I want you guys to just follow along, do exactly what I'm doing, and I'll go back and explain things later. So let's start by typing with an open bracket and an exclamation point, doc type, all caps, space HTML, and then we're going to close it with another bracket. Now let's hit enter, and we're going to do another bracket. And by the way, guys, we're going to create all of our what we call tags with these brackets. So I'm going to type in HTML, close that bracket, and you'll notice that brackets, our text editor, automatically created a exact replica of the first thing I typed, but it's preceded by a slash. That means we're closing the tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter twice, and then I'm going to go up at one, and in between these HTML tags is what we call them. Let's hit tab so we know we're on a new section, and we're going to type head. So I'm going to do open bracket head, and I'm going to close that, and it'll automatically create our new head. And let's do this again. Let's hit enter, and let's go up, and let's hit tab one more time, and we're going to do a title tag. So let's write our title tag, and we can keep these on the same line. So within this title tag, we can write some text here, and this is going to be the title of our web page. So I'm just going to write getting started with HTML, and that'll be the title of our web page. So now let's go down below our head here, and we're going to hit enter, and we're going to open up a new tag, and this time it's going to be body. So let's type in body, and we're going to hit enter, and in between this we're going to put some more tags, and we're just going to keep it simple and do two. The first one will be H1, so I want you to type H1, and let's go ahead, and inside of this we're going to write getting started with HTML, and this will be the same as our title. Now let's hit enter outside of this, and I'm going to type H2. This time let's write, how about our first web page. Awesome. Now we have just coded out our very first web page. Now this is incredibly basic, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what this looks like in our browser. Now brackets makes that incredibly easy. Over here on the right side, you'll notice we have a lightning bolt that is sideways. This is our live preview option. So let's go ahead and click this, and this is going to open up, and we'll see the brackets loading screen. This is going to open up exactly what our page looks like in HTML. So we have our getting started with HTML and our first web page. Obviously we're seeing only a very small quantity of everything that we just typed in. So let's go back and let's take a look at exactly what's going on. So we've created our very first web page and we've coded in HTML. Well, what does any of this mean? Well, let's start with a quick introduction. What exactly is HTML? Now, HTML is what we call a markup language, and it's used to describe web documents or web pages. Now, HTML exactly stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And our HTML documents, so what we just created, are going to be described by HTML tags. And all of these tags are things that we've just created, and we'll go over each one individually. Now, each one of these tags is going to describe different content within our document. Let's start at the very top. The doc type declaration that we typed here simply defines the document type to be HTML. So essentially what this is saying is this page right here is an HTML document. Now we have our HTML tags, and we have this at the very top and then at the very bottom, and everything else is included within this. And all this means is that everything in between these two tags, our HTML and our closing HTML, describe an HTML document. Next, we have our header tags, or our head and our closing head. Now, this is going to provide information about the document, and this is not going to be visible within our browser. This is all going to be things that are running behind the scenes. Next, within our head, we have our titles. And the text between our title tags provide the title for our document. So this is what we're going to see on the tab within our browser. Next, moving down, we have our body. And the body is going to make up the actual content within our website. And this is going to describe everything that's visible within our page content. And within our body, we have an H1 tag and an H2 tag. And these are simply going to be header 1 and header 2. And we'll go over this a little bit more later, but a header 1 is simply a text string that happens to be very big to notify that, hey, this is a header of some sort of content. And a H1 tag is going to be larger than an H2 tag, and we saw that when we viewed it in our browser. And then obviously at the bottom here, we know that our HTML document has ended because we have our ending HTML tag.